In this video, we react to episode 10 of season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Nerd. In this video, we wrap up season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds with our reaction to the final episode of this season. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and joining me in person, the entire Star Trek team that's been with me all season long. We got my nerdy brother, Josh Winter. We got Jason Summer and Christian James.
Hola.
We're all here in person to wrap up this season. The episode titled Hegemony.
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 I think I said it right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
hegemony.
Yeah.
Hegemony.
They said it in the episode. I've already forgotten what it was.
Hedge fund.
So
Get out.
Did they ever say it in the episode?
they did.
Yes.
They did.
They did? Okay.
Because we all said out loud.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
The Gorn Hegemony.
Yeah. Hedge fund.
Yeah.
Which is really, this is a really serious episode.
Yeah. Really serious. All right. Which, just first talking point, coming off the heels of a musical episode.
Thematic whiplash.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like
that's fine.
we've been doing this since the beginning.
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah.
Like I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Like I know there's a bunch of people, good Lord, getting on the internet that just did not like the musical episode, period. But there's also equal number of people who absolutely adored it.
Yeah, we all thought it was great.
Yeah. So
I feel like it's 60-40. I think 50-50.
which one is the 60?
Loved.
Okay.
I think it's more like 70-30.
Ooh.
All I know is all the ratings were like either a 10 or a 3.
That's rude.
Like, I mean, that's how it was though. Like if you scroll IMDb and Rotten
Right.
Tomatoes,
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
right.
just everyone, like the audience score was you either gave that episode a 10 or you gave it like a 2 or a 3.
We had some commenters in our video saying this is not what Star Trek is supposed to be. I'm just like, we all loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
To which I will say, and I'm paraphrasing, someone will point out that that's not the exact quote, but I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
Leonard Nimoy, Spock. Leonard Nimoy said, people get too hung up on the details. The question you should ask yourself is, where does Star Trek want to take me today?
Yeah.
And I think that's the attitude we should all have about it. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that more or less for the last 60 years, we've had canon that more or less lines up. That's a feat in and of itself. But also to me, it's so much fun that it shouldn't break it just because things don't perfectly line up. Who cares? That's not the point. Enjoy the ride. Have fun. And this episode was fun, but in a very different way than last week's.
Very different.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
shocking
Very different.
way.
yeah, let's go ahead and do that overarching, non-spoily feelings about this last episode. How are you guys feeling about it? We're done with this season. Did they go out with a bang or a whimper?
Oh, it's definitely a bang.
Bang. Bang.
Bang.
Yeah, definitely whatever a phaser does. I don't think it bangs.
Pew, pew.
Well, you probably want to go photon torpedo with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Probably
full
that.
spread.
Right.
This part, it's cliffhanger E, but it's not. Damn, I said it. I was gonna say it's not super spoilery, but it is a spoiler. It ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That was super frustrating.
I kind of saw
But
it
at
coming.
the same time, not unexpected.
Yeah. I
No,
saw it.
Like last season ended on a cliffhanger. Not as immediate and imperiling a cliffhanger,
Right.
but definitely a cliffhanger. So maybe this is going to be the trend moving forward, which is in keeping with Star Trek tradition. Especially starting with like the Next Generation. Most of their season finales were a 2-parter, and you had to come back for the season premiere to see the conclusion
Mhm.
True.
of the finale. So this is good. This is in keeping with tradition. So it's not every season. It's probably half.
No, yeah. I
half
would
of their
say,
seasons.
yes.
Like
enough where you would feel like you could say that.
without getting a rude comment. Anyway, so
Don't feed the trolls.
Seems like you guys are itchy to get into some spoilers.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's
Spoiler
go ahead
alert.
and set those phasers to spoilers. That's my new
like
favorite
that
thing.
way too
Yes, I
much.
do.
You tried that a lot.
It just fits. It fits.
Yeah.
So, yes, be on the lookout for the rest of this episode. We are talking spoilers. So if you have not seen this final episode of season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, you might want to go watch that before you watch the rest of this video.
and can't stress enough, the whole thing is a spoiler.
Who's got their phone on?
I don't have my phone.
Not me. It wasn't me.
It definitely came.
It definitely was.
Oh, it was his watch. Okay.
There, I silenced it.
All right. So
For Enterprise.
let's
That's not how
just
it works.
real
I know.
quick synopsis. When the Enterprise investigates an attack on a colony at the edge of Federation space, Captain Pike and the crew face the return of a formidable enemy.
Spoilies.
It's the Gorn.
Gorn.
It's the Gorn.
So first question I have. They've been selling the Gorn as a kind of an alien-esque, and I speak the movie.
Yeah, like literally alien.
Alien-esque, yeah. Kind of a terrifying, unseen enemy that's kind of been ever present in the episodes. Like we all know that they're around somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Who in the world thought that the Gorn were going to be the big baddies of the next of Strange New Worlds? And like I never would have picked it in any of my Star Trek mind that would be it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad choice. It's
I was
just
gonna say it
a
makes
surprising one.
It makes sense, just because they haven't really been done yet. Not on the level that I think they're gonna ease into here. Because like I mean, the Klingons have been the bad guys before.
Right.
The Romulans have been the bad guys before.
Right.
The Cardassians, I mean, we're nowhere near that part yet, but they've been the bad guys
Kim,
before. Good Lord, the
Chloe,
Borg have been the
Caitlin.
bad guys before.
Yeah.
Like,
The Ferengi were supposed to be the big bad guys.
but they were too funny.
silly.
Yeah,
Right.
they were too funny, so
Yeah.
no one could take them seriously as the bad guys.
Right.
So no, like to me, I mean, it makes sense. It was either going to be the Gorn, or they'd have to invent a new species. But that's a tricky thing to do with a prequel series, because then it's, well, why have we never seen that species
Right.
before?
Well, so let's just go and keep the Gorn train going.
Okay.
So
I don't like that phrase.
Gorn
Gorn
Boat?
train.
Gorn train just feels weird.
Stop.
Gorn car. I don't.
Just move on with your thought.
Wagon?
Just
I don't
move
know.
on with the thought.
So, obviously teased in the first episode of this season.
Mhm.
Never touched base again until this last episode. So,
Right.
a season-long tease.
Yes.
But obviously the big thing was, what are they going to look like? Because obviously one of the more classic
It was
aliens.
literally the first thing that I said when we started watching this episode.
Yeah.
I want to see a full-grown Gorn.
Full-grown
Full-grown
Gorn.
Gorn.
Full-grown
And I
Gorn.
think
Yeah.
Christian had the best description of what they looked like.
Yes, the full-grown Gorn.
Right.
Full-grown Gorn.
Nice.
Wow, I did that first try.
Nice.
Yeah, nailed it.
It would have been better if you just kept going though.
And I know. I got too excited. But yeah, it reminded me of the Elite from Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a bad comparison.
Yeah.
And I imagine it's going to split opinion pretty hard.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if I can quickly pull up one of the
Jesus.
classic.
That's terrifying.
Hold on.
Christian
hold
hasn't
on.
watched a lot of the original series yet.
I've
Hold
seen
on.
some of like the like screenshots from past episodes, like the old version, because that was exactly what I was thinking about when we were talking about what would they look like. And I was like,
Yeah,
I've seen this.
yeah, and like,
Yeah.
and I was still kind of expecting something like this.
That'd have been amazing if it was just a guy.
Like the ones,
I mean, they did look like this, just with a budget.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
which is how they've done everything on this show.
I mean, they're still
So
green
far.
and lizard-like. Yes.
yeah. I was picturing. There's another one. The other time we saw them, he was in like an orange spacesuit. I was kind of expecting the orange spacesuit. I was a little bummed out we didn't get the orange spacesuit.
When did you see the orange spacesuit?
Star Trek Online
Oh,
was
okay.
mostly the one that I remember.
Gotcha.
But train of thought. Oh, so no, like I'm okay with the new design, because it's very much what they've been doing the entire time.
Comparison.
Like
Let me pull
the new Starfleet uniforms clearly don't look like Kirk's uniform, Shatner's original
Right.
uniform. But you can tell that this is not a stretch if they had modern technology and a budget.
yeah.
That this is what they would have done if they could have.
I mean, they are almost identical though.
Yeah, like it's the spirit is there.
Yeah, so
I'm okay with this.
in our backdrop here, we have the classic form of them with the pizza apron on the left, and on the right is what we saw in this episode. So, I mean, it is the same idea.
Yeah.
I would think this is,
no,
the-
I'm okay with it.
the least
Yeah, no, I like
cheesy
that.
interpretation they could do in modern day technology.
Yeah, and like I can imagine that they were like animalistic, crawling around, many teeth roaring. Especially you were talking about an alien as well, like all the saliva just pouring out of their mouth. It's like, yeah, that makes sense.
It tracks.
Yeah,
that tracks.
Yeah, and speaking of that, let's talk about just kind of the level of gore that's in this episode too.
Ooh, loved it.
There was a good bit.
There was a good bit.
Yeah,
loved it.
So basically, what's happened in the episode is that the Federation.
Are you gonna do the thing?
No, I don't know if I can do this. Hang on. Okay. Oh.
Don't put him on the spot like
No,
that. That's so rude.
That's the only way it works. Okay. All right. Captain Patel is down on the
Patel.
No. Okay.
Yeah, lost it. All right.
I already lost the speed. Okay.
And
Anyway.
scene.
All right. And we can't get anything wrong though.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to help
Hey,
you here.
no.
Patel.
Little call out. If we get something wrong,
Yeah.
maybe we're referencing something in the older series that we're misremembering, or there's a detail in this most recent episode that we're talking about that maybe we're misremembering because we just watched it a few hours ago or whatever. Let us know in the comments. Clear up the confusion. We'll appreciate it, but do it nicely. As WWPD. What would Pike do?
Pike do?
Or
Right.
Picard.
Or Picard.
They're both very diplomatic.
Both are correct.
And they both start with
Both
a
with
P.
P's.
Yeah.
So yeah, be nice about your criticisms. and
Also,
we'll
if it's that
appreciate you.
upsetting to you, you need to go outside and touch some grass. Like that's the best thing I can say. Like, dude, it's a
Yeah.
TV show. We're all here because we're having fun. Chill out. It's okay.
Yeah.
It will be all right.
And as a reminder, two of us here have never actually seen any other Star Trek aside from
No.
this and the movies, like
Yeah.
the most recent movies.
I haven't seen the movies.
Jason's probably
Christian hasn't
it's
even
been
seen them.
years since you've seen the original series.
I don't think I've seen the original series all the way through.
There you go.
You're right. Now,
Even-
I love the movies. I like the original series movies. Like
Yeah.
Star Trek's 1 through 6.
Even I'm only like halfway through the original series.
Yeah, and Josh is a
Like,
brand new fan of Star Trek. So the reason we're doing these videos is because we're sharing the love of what we're currently watching without the knowledge of years and years and years of Star Trek knowledge. So
Yeah.
We're not experts. We're just here to have some fun.
So
But
yeah.
when Jason gets something wrong, let us know.
why? It's like every anyway. No. In any case, moving on.
just remember Spock shot first.
Right. Hikaru Solo piloted the Firefly class
Enterprise. Yeah. Against the Death Star. Yeah.
into the Death Star, where
Pull up your list of.
where the Darth Klingon ruled with an iron.
Okay, first off, Darth Klingon would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
someone put that into
I'd
an
love to see
AI.
that.
Yeah. Someone put that into an AI generator. I want to see that. Okay. Anywho,
Right. Anyway,
So the episode opens with-
So the open. Okay. So
you don't have to do the super fast run.
Yeah, I'm not gonna-
just,
that's
just
fine,
you
that's
can.
fine.
So Federation is down on this planet that's considering joining the Federation. Turns out it's on the edge of Gorn space. Nobody seemed to know that.
Seems like an
Because
Because
of
of
oversight.
course it would be.
Right,
Yeah.
because why wouldn't anybody know that? Anyway, so the Gorns show up and they stake a claim on the planet for a feeding, breeding, hunting ground, and all communications cut off. Of course,
That's how they invade.
the Enterprise has to show up and go help out, and they can't reach anybody on the planet. They can't do any transporting. It's all the bad things that happen with Star Trek.
Interference.
There's
There's interference.
all sorts of interference.
Yeah.
And then
The real bad
And then-
guy on Star Trek is interference. It's
Well,
always
also-
interference.
Also, upper
It's
levels
all that
of
red
command.
tape. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also, upper levels of command, which are like, don't go.
Yeah, the biggest enemy on Star Trek though is definitely interference.
Yeah,
Let
subspace.
it jam
right.
in their
Yeah, exactly.
satellites.
Yes. Who's this? Was it the raspberry jam?
Yeah.
Nobody gives me the raspberry.
I don't know that
Spaceballs.
reference. Oh,
You
Spaceballs.
reference
Yeah.
Spaceballs a lot. It's been a long time.
You
since I've
should
seen
Yeah, I was
watch
gonna say I saw
again.
Spaceballs
Anyway,
like
okay.
one time
Right.
in the late '90s.
Anyway.
It was okay. It was all right.
We'll
You
talk
know,
about that later.
I actually think it's
Alright,
one of the
okay.
weaker Mel Brooks movies, but whatever.
Anyway, so
I mean,
So Captain Pike decides to go down and try to save everybody, and then of course they encounter the Gorn,
Full grown Gorn.
full-grown Gorn.
And
eventually.
Baby Gorn.
I got it.
Good job.
Okay,
yeah,
and a baby Gorn.
And the
Baby
younglings.
Younglings.
They,
They
killed
said
the
they killed them all.
younglings.
Yeah.
I killed them all.
Skywalker, some younglings.
All right.
So that's what happened with this episode.
Yes.
I mean, in a nutshell.
In
yeah.
a nutshell.
That
A
is
convoluted nutshell. Yeah.
That's a whole big nutshell. All right.
It's a walnut.
So let's just talk about some of the bigger things. So I think my first thing, which I loved about this episode, was that they didn't waste any time getting into it. Like we were maybe 60 seconds into it before there
It
was
got
a
real.
threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So loved that. Like a 50-minute episode, 49 of that was action. So
Yeah.
love it.
You know, in the beginning, like when the Gorn started showing up, I had totally forgot that Nurse Chapel just beamed up off the planet
Oh,
until they mentioned it again. I
So
was
that
like, oh,
was
yeah.
that was the
That's a problem.
yeah, that was one of the plot points. So she was one of the only people from Enterprise, or I guess the only person from Enterprise that was on that planet. We saw her beam up, and then they kind of reminded us a little bit later, oh wait, she beamed up to the ship that was blown up.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not great.
not great.
It's not
Not
a
a good sign.
not a good situation to be in.
They did a really good job on this episode for the fact that many of the people who were in danger have plot armor because they show up in
The original series.
the original series.
Which I kind of didn't like.
Well, but that's just
But
going to be an inherent
what I was
problem.
saying-
Like,
what I was saying though is that even with that, I was still in suspense.
yes,
See, I was going to say
Yeah.
I wasn't. Like, specifically
Okay.
with Chapel, I was like, well, we know she's going to be fine. So, like, they're building suspense around something that
But it's
there's
like,
no
how?
suspense around.
yeah. See, that's what I was going to say. The how can be just as interesting.
Well, I-
Gorny.
I
Yeah.
called it specifically, oh, she's going to be laying down on the ground unconscious somewhere. She was.
Yeah.
So, like, that, there was no mystery there
Well,
for me.
for me, who is a child at heart, I was worried.
That
Yeah,
explains
no,
a lot.
not really.
That
You
explains
know,
a
the
lot.
suspense was still there for me.
It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because she lives doesn't mean she's not going to go through a horrible ordeal.
Now, I did think that she should have been
Riveting.
more damaged. She looked barely damaged.
I mean, she was rather cut up in the face. There's a lot
In
of
the
blood.
facial region.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And also, she was knocked out for a very long time.
Super not good for you. Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
Archer. Yeah, it's
Archer,
Archer.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's it's also the first part of a two-parter.
Yeah.
Right.
There may be some development to come from all that.
Well,
Yes.
speaking of characters without plot armor, Ortega,
Right.
and she had a bigger role in this
She
episode.
did.
Made me nervous the entire time.
Yes.
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 Because when secondary characters get a spotlight,
Never
usually
goes well.
means you're on the way out.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Himmer.
So they've, the recurring plot line with her this entire season was she wanted to be on a landing party, but she kept getting put back on the Enterprise. She finally got to join the landing party, like in the most dangerous way possible.
Yes.
And she went missing for like the last part of the episode.
Did she?
Yes. So it ends with
Oh, she was
That's
in that
right.
party, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
like her. I
So
don't
at
want
the
her to
end, they
die.
destroy the interference field, which is coming from a Gorn tower.
Mhm.
And we think everyone's going to be okay. And Jason called it out. The teleportation field,
Signature colors.
yeah, we're not quite right.
They weren't Starfleet. They
Yes,
were
yeah, I
green.
noticed that. Good
And
job.
so the thing we realized right at the
Good
very
catch.
end is that they were not beamed aboard the Enterprise. They were beamed aboard
The
one
Gorn ship.
of the Gorn ships.
Yes. Or
Man, I
maybe several
didn't-
of them.
See, I didn't
Yeah.
remember that Ortega was with them. Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who else was
there?
Mbenga.
And Bango.
Yeah.
No, he's fine.
And
Una?
Mustache.
No,
No, it was on
she stayed
Enterprise.
up there. That's right. And mustache. Kirk.
Kirk. Other
Oh,
Kirk.
Yeah, other Kirk. Okay.
Yeah. Kirk
Mustache.
Beta.
Yeah.
Kirk. You can't remember Kirk? No, I'm kidding. You shouldn't be wearing that uniform.
He's a
I love the
noob. He's
mustache.
fine.
Yeah, I'm a noob.
He's a noob.
Kirk Beta.
Um,
It's not Kirk Prime. Don't
so
worry
yeah, those
about
were
it.
the main ones. So okay, dang.
Yeah.
I like Ortega.
Well,
But
she's not dead yet. Or
Well,
at
that
all.
could be the way to
Yeah.
kick off the next
Right.
season.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
Captain Patel.
Batal.
No,
Oh.
she's on the Enterprise.
Batal.
That's right. She is.
But let's go. talk
However,
about her.
she has her own
Yes.
issues,
Let's go and talk about her.
Yeah.
So
which
Patel-
we immediately called at the beginning of the episode. Because again, secondary character that we've had a spotlight on recently. We knew she was a goner.
Yeah, so we were thinking, this season they're heating up in the relationship between Pike and Patel.
Which we know that's not how his story ends.
That's never a good sign.
Yeah.
And Josh called it, like right before it was told us what was happening with her. Josh called it. The
She's
reason that the
infested.
youngling Gorn did not attack her was because she was harvesting the eggs for them.
Which actually, I'm not sure if that makes sense logically because the Gorn are competitive with each other when they're young. So, but they also said this episode that the Gorn were not killing each other like they normally do.
Yeah, it was a feeding thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions here.
Yes.
I have
Which
a lot of questions.
almost got misdirected. But when you said that, I was like, oh, she's a woman. She won't die because she has eggs.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I was confused about what you were saying too.
I was like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
that kind of makes sense.
Oh.
No, I literally meant Gorn eggs.
Not human eggs, silly boy.
No, yeah,
she's
until they
been-
brought it up later on in the
Yeah.
episode, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
got
I was
it.
right there with you.
Eggs. not eggs, but eggs.
I was
right.
like,
Yeah.
but wait a minute, there's
Gorn.
other women that are dead.
Gorn eggs.
Like, are they just?
I don't think they much care what your sex is. They don't need none of that.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's
They-
a weird,
um,
weird plot.
They just need a meat bucket.
Like, I never really picked up on that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, Pike being the Pike that he is, he wants to save her at all costs. So
Let's
he
save
beams her back
everybody.
aboard the Enterprise in Chapel. Does her best to save her. So she puts her in stasis. So we
Right.
got to see where that goes.
Right.
Let's say Tom Cruise has already done that before.
Like they put him in stasis.
Remember
I was like, that's how he stays young.
MI2, Mission Impossible 2,
Oof, the worst Mission Impossible.
like where the lady gets infected with the
It's not.
virus.
Yes.
Forgot that entire plot.
Yeah, and like when he jumps out the building, he was like, "I'll come back for you. I'll save you."
Did he?
That
And
was
he jumps out
dramatic.
the building,
Yeah.
he like skydives out the building.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
I don't
That's where it
recall.
all started. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway,
That was
Yeah,
a very young
that.
Candy Newton.
So let's go and talk about the other big character thing this episode.
I was so excited, and it came out of nowhere.
It did. It really did.
Oh, yeah.
Was it even announced ahead of time?
Not
Or is
that
this
I've
like a-
ever-
And I was gonna say,
surprised.
I feel like I would have noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I also try to avoid spoilies,
Me
but
too, yeah. So.
Scotty.
Scotty.
We got a Scotty.
Montgomery Scott
Scotty
makes an appearance, and a big appearance actually.
Yeah.
He's
he
like
was-
in the second part of the episode. He is one of the main characters.
He is
Yeah.
key to the plot.
Yes. Yep.
So how'd you guys feel about him? I'm going to see if I can pull up the actor's name.
Yeah.
Whatever the dude's name is, he did
what did
great.
you do?
Hella Scottish.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or at least he
Scottish
sounded
character,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's.
I think.
I don't know if he
I can
is.
tell you
Yeah.
if it's a genuine Scottish accent, but it worked. for
Martin
me.
Quinn.
Yes.
He is such a new guy that he doesn't even have a picture on
Yeah,
IMDb.
Wow. Good job.
Yeah.
No, that's the way you should do it, though, especially with legacy characters. I don't care if you're an established actor. I want someone who can
Born
do
in
it.
1994. He is 19 years old.
No.
29 years old.
There it is.
I was like,
Can we just edit that one out? I'm
Nope,
just
that
like-
was,
Nope.
that
Corey's
was
not doing
good.
editing. All right.
Yeah, so we finally got Scotty.
All right, so he's 30. That makes more sense.
And we know that, as you guys were saying, he does not have a ship anymore. So obviously, he's probably just going to join the crew next season. So yeah,
Well, I hope. I mean, maybe he would. Oh, that's right. He can't be chief yet because he's still way too young.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I really like Carol Kane's.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's.
Character,
I don't think she's going
Pelia.
anywhere yet.
Pelia.
I don't know where the emphasis goes.
Right. Pelia.
I think it's Pelia.
Pelia.
I think it's Pelia.
We're
Don't-
not good with names here.
You're right.
Yeah. But
She's not on the list.
yeah,
Yes,
I
she
mean,
is.
like
Yeah.
There she is.
you
Like
were,
he
you
was-
had her mouse.
Scroll down.
yeah, like you were
Two down, two down,
literally
there you go.
right on her.
Right there.
There it is. Carol Kane.
You were the blindest. person.
But
You don't even have sunglasses on.
That's his visor.
Sorry.
yeah.
it's
You don't even
that
have
old tech,
visor on.
that old tech visor.
Old tech.
Right.
But no, I don't think she's going anywhere yet.
Yeah.
I think she's probably gonna stick around for a little while. But no, this was good. I mean, that was kind of one of the original questions when they first started this show was how many of the original cast is going to be there or original characters going to be there, how many we're going to pick up along the way. So this makes sense.
So
I'm
what is
excited to get Scotty.
What was Scotty's thing?
He's chief engineer.
Chief engineer. Okay.
He's the one that kept the old bucket of bolts going.
Beam me up, Scotty.
He always managed to do it in half the time that they said it could be done.
Right.
And then in the next generation, he got on to LaForge because he said, LaForge said something like he's going to get something done in 2 hours. And he goes, well, how long is it really going to take, lad? And he goes, 2 hours. And he goes, that's not how you do it. You tell him like 10 and then you're a godsend when you get it done in 2. And so,
That was pretty enjoyable to listen to.
yeah. So like, it's funny, but no, this is in the Trek timeline. He's one of the longest lived characters. Technically,
Right.
Oh,
because he gets stuck into a transporter buffer for 100 years.
wow.
Anyway, so deep cuts
He's
there.
in the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one episode, and then I don't think they ever reference him again. But
Like, he takes a show.
it was a good
and he's
episode,
off.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. Anywho, we got Scotty. The point is, we got Scotty.
We got Scotty, and we were happy with Scotty.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
Scotty, and he's already trying to save the day.
Oh yeah. What was he trying to build again?
So he built a Gorn, essentially a Gorn transponder, and if you hook it up into your shuttle, the Gorn basically ignore it because it looks like a Gorn ship.
Yeah, that's right.
So, which he built using spare parts from a telescope, essentially.
Right.
Because Scotty's awesome.
Right.
Scotty knew.
Scotty knew.
Yeah. Scotty did know.
So you guys might not know the answer here.
Okay.
So viewers in the comments, please let us know if you do know. Jason, you mentioned that Spock had never fought the Gorn
Oh my
before.
God.
There was a Gorn fight scene between Spock and
There
full-grown Gorn.
Full-grown Gorn.
In
barely a
Chapel.
fight
Chapel was
scene.
there.
Yeah.
Freaking stabbed the dude in the helmet with the spiky thingy.
Right.
So
Vulcan punch.
he has now officially fought the Gorn at least once,
Right.
possibly more.
Right.
So
Yeah. So let's talk about that conversation real quick. What I was saying is that we should put Spock's face on Kirk's body on an image of him fighting the Gorn.
Preferably doing the two-handed
Right.
punches.
So Corey then asked, has Spock ever fought the Gorn? I said, I don't know. He goes, well, what if he does in this episode? Then it won't be that big of a deal. I'm like, I don't know. Sure enough.
Yeah.
Spock has now canonically fought the Gorn.
Before Kirk.
That is true. That is true.
Spock fought first.
Spock fought
Nice.
Thank you.
All right, what else? I have a few other things,
Yeah.
but honestly, I just want to go read for you.
This is
He,
nice.
this is how he always
Bro,
does
I
it.
got the entire
He's
season.
like, brah,
on here,
man,
bro.
brah.
The entire
it's
season.
super
Uh,
annoying when you sit next to him.
But it's also really impressive too.
You guys
it's
should,
both. You can do both.
I mean, without going into a scene by scene,
Right.
I feel like we hit the highlights here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Spock saves Chapel. They get aboard the Enterprise. But then we get that cliffhanger.
Yeah, let's talk about the cliffhanger. The last scene,
Right.
where Pike is just getting thrown information from left and right.
They're grossly outnumbered.
The Starfleet command is telling him to stand down. He knows he has a crew that he has to save from the Gorn ship. He just looks like he has information overload.
And
He's
the
going
ship
into
is also under attack.
That whole thing.
Yeah. So,
He looks like he is going into a mental breakdown.
Right.
And then obviously cut to black.
well, okay. This was for me out of character for him.
to kind of
To
he
kinda-
didn't
to
he
kinda
didn't
be-
lose his cool, but he lost his
But
confidence.
He lost
Right.
his confidence and he was indecisive. Like, what's the point of him being all that chill and all that cool and calm under pressure when the one time, and it really happens in the entire season, he loses it? I mean,
I think this was probably played up to build up the cliffhanger.
I get
Yeah.
it, but make that shorter then.
Yeah.
Like, it was too long
I just
for me.
I'm betting the next episode starts with him immediately making a
Right.
decision,
Like snapping
and
out of it,
getting
yeah. It was like maybe part of it is that Patel. There we go.
Patel.
I feel like we change it every
Patel.
time. So it's one of
So
those.
with a B,
I
it's a
swear you
Bravo.
said Patel before.
Patel.
Pretty sure it's
Yeah.
Patel.
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 I'm pretty sure it's Patel.
Patel.
Marie.
Marie. There we go.
Marie,
Right.
because we know her
The-
first name now.
The
Yeah,
other
yeah, right.
captain.
She has
Anyway.
she has a canonical first name.
So I feel like the stress behind Marie's condition and then
That didn't
trying to figure out like what's happening.
Well,
at the same time, probably got him frazzled.
Well, like Corey was saying, like right there, that everyone was throwing information at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
none of it was
Yeah.
good information.
Yeah, none of it
was not okay. First of all, it wasn't bad. It didn't take away from the scene. It illustrated the fact that the situation was dire. Yes.
It's the all is lost moment.
Yes.
right. But it was just like, I feel like it was too long.
I mean, if he had come right in there and be like, okay, let's do
No,
this,
no,
then
no,
it would have
no.
ruined it.
Like, I would say like shave like 2 seconds off that scene.
Jason once again is having an issue with editing.
But then how would you feel if they
Which-
came back?
Star Wars was saved by editing. Just saying.
Oh, it was.
That's also true.
Cuts both ways.
All right.
But how would you feel if they came back next season, like immediately snaps out of it, solves all the problems in like the first 5 minutes?
Okay, that would suck too. Yeah. All right. I'm
I'm just putting it out there. I'm
Right.
saying.
So get out. No.
So how do we feel?
Yeah, let's go and get into scores. So, as a reminder, as we wrap up this season, we have been giving.
No, Willow.
That was trash.
Oh.
Anyway,
That was-
I wanted to like that so much.
Oh my God.
I really, really did.
Anyway,
Okay, sorry.
so we have been giving each individual episode of the season its own score.
Right.
And then we average each of our 4 scores together to give us the overall score for the entire season. So, Josh, you missed a few episodes there in the middle, but you have been giving it 5s across the board.
yeah.
So you're obviously averaging to a 5 this season. Jason, I think you only missed like one episode. So out of all of your scores combined, you've been giving it a 4.31.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've obviously scored every single episode because I'm always here. I've been giving it a 4.78. I believe Christian's been here every episode too. So he's across the board giving it a 4.44. So all told,
one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever. Here we go. So who's kicking us off out of 5? What are we giving this final episode of season 2?
Oh, so question real quick. Okay. Are we still doing this one episodically?
Yes.
Or is this
Yes.
over? Okay.
The average will tell you how you felt about it throughout the season.
Fair enough.
I feel like we should do the 2 in the middle, 2 on the outside.
Hashtag science.
Let's just do it how we've always been doing it. So who's going first? I'll go first.
All right.
Oh, man. I've actually not thought about my score yet.
Wow. Amazing.
But I think this was a great way to go out because, coming out of that musical episode, it really kind of drove home the point that this was a pretty dramatic episode and like it's going to have some potentially devastating impacts going forward.
Series altering repercussions.
Possibly.
Mm.
Possibly.
True.
We finally got a season-long payoff from that original first episode tease, which was nice.
Love a good payoff.
They were menacing for the little that we saw. We didn't really get to see that much Gorn, but we saw like just
Just an effect that's too expensive to show.
the set pieces, blood literally everywhere, guts literally falling from the ceiling,
from the lights. Yes.
So I think just the atmosphere was set up really well. So I liked that. We kind of touched on a few of the overarching storylines, like with the Nurse Chapel and Spock storyline. Obviously, the Pike and Patel storyline.
Nobody's getting it right. We're getting it right and singing it wrong.
And yeah, so I think it kind of hit all the marks. And for someone that likes the grit and the darkness and the
That's right, you do.
stuff like that, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. I don't have any complaints.
Okay.
Aside from just the lack of suspense in my personal viewing, where there was no suspense around Chapel, that was kind of a bummer.
There are
but
worse things than dying.
There are worse. True. That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm giving it a 5,
Okay.
which will bring my score for the entire season. I'm not sure why I'm yelling. For the entire season,
You typed a 2.
I did type it in
5.
too. I'm not sure how that happened. So my final score, just mine, for the entire season 2 is a 4.8.
Nice.
So
Wow.
near
Okay.
perfect.
Pretty good television.
Near perfect. All right. Who's going next?
I'll go.
All right, Christian.
Yeah, like you said, like my first experience of watching a full thing of Star Trek has surpassed my expectations.
Nice.
I love the way that they set up each episode, that it's not like an always continuing story of the previous episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It'll kind of skip around and it gives you some kind of like freshness in that sense.
Which I'm going to pause you for a second. Pike actually did very quickly reference the musical episode. He said he was relieved that he's not breaking out into song every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I like the little callback.
And which, yet again, I'll reiterate, I love that episode.
Yeah.
Like everything was really catchy. Also, I love this type of episode where it gets just like, you have no time to breathe.
Mhm.
Almost. If you're like kind of like binging this, you're like, oh, cool, musical, boom, guts, blood everywhere. What's happening? I love that. But yeah, I'll give it a 5 minutes knocked out too long out of 5.
Okay.
Because again, it's super not good for you.
Super not good.
Yes. So that brings Christian's overall season 2 score to a 4.5. Nice and even. Love it. Love it. All right.
I'll go because I know Josh probably wants to close this out.
All right.
I'll let Josh close it out.
Jason.
Okay. This was a really strong episode. Probably a contender for one of my favorite episodes of the season.
Nice.
I gotta say though,
Here it is.
yeah, that last little bit, it took me out for a minute. I'm like, this is too long. So I'm gonna give this a weird score.
Oh my God.
No, not like
Love it.
like my normal no. It deserves, I think, as close to 5 as you can get, but it just missed that. for me.
4.9999.
No. 4.9.
God. Okay.
You know what though? I understand the reasoning. I get it.
4.97.
It was not a It was not a nonsensical 4.9.
Thank you.
I understand
Thank
his
you.
logic.
I
get
I
it.
need that. Thank you, Josh.
All
I
right.
get it.
All right. So that brings Jason's overall season 2 score to a 4.38.
Which episode dunked it for him?
It was
The
the
third
time
episode.
travel one.
Yeah, the third
Mm,
episode.
yeah.
You didn't like that
You
one.
did not like the time travel.
Yeah, I really didn't.
Well, no one's
Yeah.
perfect.
But clearly,
Yeah. But I think Strange New Worlds is. I'm going to keep my 5 out of 5. No, I am an easy one to satisfy with Strange New Worlds. I think it's charming. I think it's great. Even when it has little issues, it's like, I just, it is so confident in who it is and who it wants to be that even when there are issues, I literally don't want to hold it against it.
Yeah, Jason.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not.
you know, I've already got.
I'm
Why
not-
you?
he gets no demerit for wanting to be a stickler about it.
Except in my book. But
I just think there's so many shows right now where it's just the same crap over and 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 over again. Every show wants to be like every other show, and Strange New Worlds has no interest in being like anything other than Strange New Worlds.
Yeah,
and so a show, especially a show that's part of arguably the world's largest franchise,
easily.
one that's easily part of the world's largest franchise.
Oh, we got to write that down somewhere.
That's-
That's me on a shirt.
That's just so willing to be itself for better or worse.
Yeah.
Like you get an A+ just for being willing to do that. And unless you have a dumpster fire of an episode, which this season it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it deserves 5 out of 5. If that is my cross to bear, just to raise the score a little bit for the average, I am happy to do it. I don't feel bad about it. 5 out of 5.
And like when Scotty showed up in the episode, Josh and I were sitting next to each other, and we're like giddy kids, like it's Scotty, and like we fist bump and everything. It was like it's Scotty. It was
Yeah,
great.
so we tinkered with the idea of actually doing a proper reaction video for this final episode since we're all together. Didn't do it from some technical reasons,
Right.
but I kind of wish I'd captured that one moment because you and Josh were freaking out. when
Well,
Scotty
yeah,
showed
I mean,
up.
like I said, it makes sense that we would get Scotty. I didn't think we were getting Scotty today. So this is
I don't know if it makes sense that we got it, but it fit. Like at no realm did I ever think Scotty would just show up in this episode.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
I guess I just always assumed he would just be a transfer on board of the Enterprise.
that was
like
not
just-
a transfer.
Yeah, like just
Well, we don't know
one
that's-
day.
We don't know that's not possible. Like maybe he just shows up now, then we'll see him again at some point in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
Like a Kirk thing.
That's true. We've had Kirk popping in and out all season.
Yeah.
He's been a regular cast member, but he's still not on board the Enterprise.
Right.
That's true.
So,
5 whats.
ooh,
Got finished out strong.
5 interference fields out of 5.
There you go. Mine was going to be 5 hingly dingly organs out
Guts,
of 5.
yeah.
Wow.
5.
Yeah, that's too much.
5 well lit organs out of 5.
4.9 infected captains out of 5.
Ooh.
Nice.
Mm.
Corn eggs. Yeah. All right. So obviously Josh's average is a 5 across the board for this season. So drum roll, please.
I'm not a drummer. I can't help.
Season 2 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Eat Sleep Nerd is giving it a 4.67 out of 5 for the entirety of this season.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong. What did we give that first season? Does anyone remember?
Similar, I think.
4.84. So it dropped just a little bit. But we also have one more person this time. So it's virtually the exact same.
I would say though I was harder on it than last season.
You were.
So
You were.
I feel bad about yourself yet?
no.
Are you regretting it?
No.
I'm fine. I'm actually
Feel good.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
If anything, he regrets being easy on the first season.
Right.
He wants to go back and rewatch it and just retroactively alter his scores.
We don't allow that. Anyway,
I've never discussed it.
That'll be a segment.
all right. So do you guys want to give any final thoughts about the entire season, or is that sum it up for you?
I mean, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's it.
All right.
I'd love to get into season 3 pretty fast.
Yes.
So, yeah. We do know season 3 is confirmed. It was confirmed a while ago. We've actually filmed a lot of it, but it's been put on hold while the writers' strikes and actors' strikes are going on. So supposed to probably come out next year, but we'll see if that actually comes to fruition.
Yeah, studios get it together. It's just a little bit more money.
It ain't that deep.
You can be slightly less rich.
Right.
Come on.
They are your bread and butter.
Literally.
Yeah. Pay them.
Yeah.
It's okay to pay people who work for you.
Right.
Yeah.
All
In case you're
right.
wondering what side of the strike we're on,
Don't get me wrong. I want it to be over.
but at the same time,
But I want them.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Not over easy. Over hard.
Yeah, paying rent in LA is not fun.
True. This is true. All right. So this wraps up our little mini series here of our day of reaction videos for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. And I don't know, I think we might be putting this format on hold just for a little bit, but I think we can guarantee when Season 3 comes back around,
Oh, yeah.
we got to do this again.
I'll bet
I
it.
mean,
Wait. I'm having a brain idea.
uh-oh. I'm glad it's a
Just
brain
an
idea,
idea?
not something
Okay.
else.
So mostly just because I want an excuse to continue wearing the uniform.
Okay. Old school
What
rewatch.
if we got together and we watched some of classic Trek? Both
There you
those
go.
old scientists and Next Gen.
Okay.
You heard it here first, folks. That's hard to say.
Probably.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm
Yes.
assuming we won't do the whole series because this is from the golden age of television where series had 24 episodes apiece.
Right.
I mean,
So that's kind of beefy.
The way that it should be.
Yeah.
More Star Trek content's on the way, folks. So if you liked this, first of all, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Share. But then also come back because we got more coming out to you at some point.
Do it.
Yeah.
from
Pike
this
would
brain
share.
idea we just had, or Josh just had.
Thank you.
WWPD. What would Pike do? He would share this show.
He would.
He would share this show.
With a lot of just really chill vibes.
Logically,
wonderful hair.
You should just
And wonderful
share
hair.
it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Logically.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would Spock do?
WWJD.
Logically, he would share.
Share.
It's the nice thing to do. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. Live long and prosper. Keep nerding out.